I just want everyone to know, and I'm probably going to put this at the start of whatever, however many parts this ends up being. I just want everyone to know that this is the third recording session that Maddie and I have had for this episode. So clearly there's a lot to say. Just want to put that out there so I have it on recording.
Yeah, and we know the girlies love their long deep dive YouTube videos. So here's another one.
Here's your 5 hour video on one episode of a fake TV show that's not even near the longest episode in this fake TV show. So do with that what you will. So great things are happening. We are happy, we are alive, we are uninhibited. And then we go to church and we're no longer uninhibited. So we're seeing again kind of this first setting of what is known in the slugline as Charlie's Church. And the reason that we kind of set that up very specifically is not only for the sake of specificity, but also because we wanted to be clear that like Charlie's church and Charlie's church community and his experience of it is not a universal church thing. It's not
Mm.
like every church that you go to. I mean, we have other characters in the show, like Yindra, who also attends church, and like that's a totally different vibe and a totally different experience. And so we wanted to kind of up front have it feel like we start to learn that whenever we see Charlie's church, there's a tension and an uncertainty and maybe a little bit of like fear, whereas any other church is going to be defined by whatever that feeling is and that setting is. So we wanted to kind of right from the get-go like make this a very specific setting.
And you did.
We sure did. So everybody's there, we're having our Sunday mass, we're doing the things that we do, and we can see through like just the kind of initial introduction of it that this is a place where like the Gardner family is like very well known. Obviously it says later, I think we get this kind of like, I mean we get the sense in the scene, but also definitely as the rest of the show goes on, we get the sense like this is like Eleanor's like place. Like she is a tastemaker, she is a force to be
Yeah.
reckoned
Like
with.
she
Like people,
basically she finished high school and then she went to church and was like, this is my new like high school. I'm the queen bee.
yes, yes, completely. Like she is in the. I was about to say. I'm thinking about what is it called? The like student government. Like she's in the student
Mhm.
government of church. But my brain was about to say the GSA, which is the Gay Straight Alliance. She's definitely not in that. But yeah, she is like running this joint for sure. And that both gives the Gardner children like kind of power in this space, but also not at all because they have so many expectations and eyes on
Mhm.
them all the time. So it's
Yeah,
really
I
interesting.
mean, even Ambrose though, because Ambrose is just like there and
Yeah.
he's just like he has to be like the good husband, which is probably fine with him, but it's like,
No, it's true. I mean, I think we do. That's something we can totally unpack in later seasons too when he kind of becomes more focused. But it is interesting to kind of think about like what is Ambrose thinking, what is he feeling, because we're so, I think especially in this season and a little bit in season 2, like we're so kind of removed from him because we're
mm,
seeing him through the perspective of Charlie's apprehension. So
yeah.
it's like everything is read with a little bit more fear or a little bit more like assumption that it's going to go wrong. So it's interesting, we can talk much in the later seasons about like what is he maybe really actually thinking in this moment, or what's Ambrose's kind of stance on XYZ, because he's much more nuanced, I guess, than Eleanor in terms of
Mm.
stances on things.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's interesting because as much as they're like a serious kind of traditional Catholic conservative family, Ambrose is not what you would think like a traditional
Mm-hmm.
Catholic dad would be like. Because I feel like the perception is that they're more in charge generally and they're
Yeah,
more like stern, whereas he's kind of chill and he sort of just lets Eleanor take the lead and
he's
he's
very
kind of,
passive,
yeah,
for better and for worse.
yes, yeah, like just lets his kid get kicked out but also,
Yeah.
mm,
Yeah.
mm,
That's the whole thing. So, but thankfully we're not at that point yet. But at this moment, Charlie is at church, and it's like, okay, clearly he's like good at being at church, like that's his thing, that's what he does. But he is distracted because he checked his phone and he's got text from Zay, and of course Zay is so funny because Charlie thinks everything Zay
what?
says is brilliant and funny. So he's like laughing at that, and that's all well and good until his dad's like, "Hey, what are you laughing at, son?"
Hate that.
And he panics, and this is like one of the first, again, this episode is the first kind of intro to like Charlie, who is Charlie actually. And this is the perfect first example of like one of my favorite things about writing Charlie and about watching Charlie
Mm,
is that he says like the dumbest shit. Like it just like
yeah.
comes out of him, and he like can't help it in like a very earnest way. And so this one of him like trying to cover himself and be like, "Oh shit, like what am I going to say I was doing that was making me smile like that?" And he says, "No, I was reading an article. Funny. A funny article." Like it's like that couldn't come out perfectly nice. That had to come out in like four different
Like,
pieces.
so suspicious.
But what I love about it is that Ambrose doesn't think anything of it. He's not suspicious. And what that implies to me is not that Ambrose like doesn't give a shit, but just that Charlie's like this all the time about different things. Like
Yeah.
he cannot speak. So Ambrose, after 15 years, 16 years, is just like, yeah, okay. He said something weird. That sounds like Charlie.
That's Charlie. That's my son. Yeah, he's a good kid. He's a little awkward. He's in that awkward stage, but
He's been in that awkward stage like his whole life.
he's gonna grow out of it. It's fine.
What's that thing that there's a line in season 3, what it's the Quincy episode, and they're, at the race, and
Hmm.
what's his freaking name? The principal of Haverford, he says to Eric, he's like, I think he says about Charlie, he's like, he's kind of a weird one, that one, isn't he?
Yeah,
And I think that that's like everyone knows like something is not quite right with him, but you don't know what.
so
And Eric's like,
sad.
yes, but that's what makes him so nice. Like Eric's like
You
trying to
love
put that spin on
him.
it, and I agree with him. But
He is correct for that. Eric's like, that's my guy. That's my little dude.
yeah.
He doesn't know that he's my little dude, but he is.
Yeah, so they bypass the moment, they're like, okay, whatever. And then Ambrose kind of makes this hint to Charlie, like, hey, Eleanor's bragging about you again. And then Charlie's like, oh, guess I should go make the rounds. And Ambrose is like, uh-huh, uh-huh. And I think what's really interesting about that is like the reason I wanted to highlight it is I think it goes to show like how routine the like
The
showboating is
braggings.
in this
Yeah.
family. Like that Charlie knows, okay, if I'm getting the cue, like mom's bragging about you again, then it's like, okay, time to go be charming, cheeky little Charlie Gardner and go make my appearances and make everybody go, oh, Charlie, we love you. And he's like, it's like Pavlovian that he like knows he's supposed to do that.
My goodness. Yeah, it's like I wonder if in other times, like it obviously started out with like him literally being like held by the arm to be like showboated around. And then it was
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, I shouldn't have to tell you, Charlie, like you need to make friends with these people because they're part of our community and like they want to take interest in you and like blah blah blah. And it's like then every time if he didn't go up to them, it would be like, Charlie, you didn't talk to Danielle and Trina today. They
Yeah,
were asking
either
about you.
that or like a bit of the cold shoulder, or like,
Mm,
yeah, I think it's definitely all like very subtle, but Eleanor is very effective at like subtle messaging. So, and that's 16 years of
she's
that.
scary.
So,
She is scary. And
oh boy. So, yes, he goes
like,
to talk to these three older women that we get introduced to in this episode, and they kind of become little staple characters of this community. They are named Danielle, Trina, and Matland. And the fun fact about that, the reason we named them that, is because that is the actresses' names of the original actresses on Boy Meets World. So it's Danielle as in Danielle Fishel, Topanga, Trina as in Trina McGee, Angela, and Matland as in Matland Ward, Rachel. So that's why we picked those names for them.
I mean, good enough reason. Would you do that now?
I think if I was introducing them in like season 4, I don't know if I necessarily would, but I this is one that I enjoy, that it's kind of like this little wink where like if you get it, you get it, and if you
Mm-hmm.
don't, like it doesn't matter at all. Like it's just names.
No.
So I'm trying to think if there's like a similar thing that I've done in later
What-
seasons.
Um,
Like I'm thinking about all the new characters that are in season 4. There's so many of them.
I mean,
Uh,
no, not really.
yeah, I mean, there's definitely not any that are like nods to Girl Meets World, but we definitely do still like at times name characters for specific reasons. Like, I guess I can say it's not really a spoiler, but like the fact that so Issa has this professor right in season 4,
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Bennett, and he definitely was given the surname Bennett as a nod to Pride and Prejudice, which is like a huge Issa Farkle like through line in the show.
I love that.
So we do think about things like that when we have to name characters, but this was obviously a different situation.
Amazing. I did not realize that. I had not put it together.
Well, there you go. Fun fact for you.
Fun fact for me.
So yeah, also I think too like it was definitely me like when I wrote this episode, it was definitely me being like, okay, I need to like name these random women in Charlie's church that may or may not come back later. I don't know. And then I was like, here's 3 convenient names that are like wink wink. So it was very like kind of like I needed something, so I just threw it in there as well. And it worked.
Yeah. No, it works. It works. Getting into their just pleasant conversation. Yeah, just I mean, classic. It's the classic heteronormativity,
hmm
sweet and good-looking boy. Of course, he should have a girlfriend,
Yes. And they're
and
like,
it's just
why?
kind of
Why don't
gross. But
you? And all of them trying to be like, date my daughter, date my granddaughter, date all the women in my life.
like, please just attach yourself to someone I know, Mr. Like charming guy. He's
Like,
not even
okay,
charming. That's the thing.
I
He's not even charming. He's literally not.
that's what's so interesting about him in this first season particularly is that we we see him able to like turn it on like in this scene right
Mm,
here. Like obviously we saw him
true.
be extremely awkward like 2 minutes ago with his dad, but when he has to flip it on, he can flip it on. And that's exactly the same persona that we saw him with Riley in the beginning of the season, where it was like this kind of
Mm,
weird, like to them, to these women who they're expecting this from him, it's like charming and like, oh, they love it, like alpha male, like vibes, so cool. But like to Riley, from that perspective, it's like it's almost a little unsettling. Like it's like something about this
mm.
isn't right, and I don't know what it is, and I don't know if I can trust him. Whereas like we know realistically, like all versions of that are a lie, and it's just not real. And I think that we kind of see as the seasons go on and Charlie is coming more and more into conflict with who he really is versus who he has to be, we see him lose his grip on being able to flip that switch.
Ooh, that's a hot take. I will look out for that for sure.
Partially because he's
Um,
like having a mental breakdown, but like also
yeah, I
because
mean, as you do.
as you become, and it's interesting too if you think about like season 4 and some of the more ways we see him in season 4 now, like that is what like true confidence and true charm looks like, because he is still very
Mm,
charming, but it's his own version of it where it's authentic. And I think that that's the key difference, is like the facade versus the real Charlie.
yeah, that's true. Because he actually is quite like kind of charming with Zay sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
It's just not in that same ordered. Sorry, can you hear my flatmate right now?
A little bit, but not too bad, don't worry.
Okay. It's like it's not the same kind of practice. There's just that difference.
Yeah. And I just
Mm.
want to say in this conversation, so like they're all like, oh my god, date this person, date that person. And Eleanor, I highlighted this in pink for irony. She says, ladies, he's my son, not a piece of meat. When it's like, girl, like in your head, Yes, he is. Like, come on, like,
Yeah,
let's not lie to
so
ourselves. Like, you
true.
love this. This is like the time of your life in these moments when you get to like parade your son around. Like, look at this person you wish was dating your daughter. Like, girl, stop.
She loves it. She's like, it's almost like she's saying it in that way where people are like, no, stop. Like,
Yeah, literally, literally,
you
that's what she's
guys,
doing.
it's so fake.
She's like, stop, but keep
Ooh,
going.
and it's like her being playful is just like, no, no, thank you.
And to me, like one thing I just love about the scene too is it's the true Charlie that shows through here, even though he's being very like not Charlie, is the fact that his answer to all of this is, I think your daughters get to decide who they want to date. Let them figure it out for themselves. Like that's his answer is not just to be like, I'm not interested, but to be like, maybe we should let your kids like figure out their own
Hmm.
romantic dreams. Like, okay, you're so sweet.
He is such a sweetie.
But the big kind of crux of this is, which is what I highlighted, is the fact that they keep asking him, like, oh my gosh, like, how could you not have a girlfriend? Is like now he's starting to realize, like, huh, why do I not have a girlfriend? And I feel like I need to have an answer to this question. Like, now that people are asking it more and more because I'm getting older and, like, it's not as, like, quote unquote, like a plausible excuse anymore that I'm just, like, 14 or whatever, because I'm not 14 anymore. Um, it's like a really
Not
interesting moment for
14
him where I
anymore.
think, like, obviously he knows in his soul why he doesn't have a girlfriend. That's something he's thought about before. That's something that has haunted him. He knows all these things in his subconscious, but we're still in season one, we're so in this thing of he has repressed it so much that like it's not conscious. So he is like having these doubts even though he spent so much time like sweating about this situation, but he's like it's not he's like I spent so much time thinking about it, but also I've never thought about this in my life. So,
Yeah, I think it's especially just the part where she's saying like, this is how you feel when you're with your first steady, which is just gross. Like, why do you say it like that? But anyway,
cuz she's
um,
old, cuz she's like 75 or 80.
I hate it.
She's
All
from
the
the
butterflies,
50s.
your palms sweat when you meet the one you sure just know. And it's like, I guess even if Charlie knew somewhere inside something like that would set it off because he does know.
Mhm.
He knows.
Oh, he sure does. And that is about what we're about to talk about next.
Hmm.
So going from that, we cut right to another one of Zay and Charlie's hangouts, and they're going to the movies, not the movie, but they're going to a movie, and they're hanging out. They're in line. They're talking about the posters, like the dance movie that they're gonna see, and Zay's like, "Remember, we're gonna go see that. It's gonna be fun." And I have this little note here that Charlie assures him that he didn't forget, and that's
Mm.
like there's this motif in Zay and Charlie of remembering things. Like there's
Oh
a kind of
yeah.
like in season 3 in the finale. I like just reread pieces of this today, so it's really fresh in my mind. But there's the moment when they're in the costume loft. They haven't been in the costume loft together all season, and he Zay's like, oh my god, like remember Les Mis, and Maya was being so crazy, but like I was amazing as Jean Valjean, remember? And Charlie, like in this very soft Charlie way, is like, I remember because
Yes.
of course he remembers everything about Zay and everything about their relationship. And that's referring to this episode. And in this episode, what does Charlie say? Oh, I did not forget that we're gonna hang out. I would never forget that we're gonna hang out. So it's like right here, again, precedent. Here's a motif.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. And the thing is that I mean, it's not like Zay forgets either, but it's like I think Charlie does forget a lot of things. Like he's a weirdly like organized, like kind of with the planner thing, but also
Mm-hmm.
like a little bit, that awkward and like scatterbrained kind of guy. He
Mm-hmm.
doesn't know what's going on. And yet he remembers everything about this.
Yes. This is his his memory. Like his just like the his whole life in his head is like there's before Zay and there's after Zay, and that's what my life fulcrums on.
Beautiful.
Whew, tears in my eyes. I can't have tears in my eyes yet. So
Not yet.
they keep talking, and Charlie has this moment where like Zay is talking, and obviously it's like, oh, Charlie's like, oh, I'm listening, but like he's not really, because he's so focused on watching Zay talk. And when they finish and they're going into the theater, he realizes like, what did he just say? Like, what? I don't remember anything that was just in that conversation. Speaking of not remembering things, what just happened? What were we just talking about? But he was so transfixed by watching Zay's mouth move that he's like, hold on. So we're already starting to have a little bit of panic here. Something's weird. Okay.
Yeah, but he's like, no, it's chill. Nothing's going on.
I mean,
That's a
like
normal thing.
he's a freak, so like I'm sure he's used to having weird moments where he's like, something's wrong with me, but I guess that's just me. So, but Charlie, buddy,
No,
no, it's about to get
no.
much deeper than that. So they're going to see this other movie. I really could not even tell you what this film is, but also because I don't go to the movies, to be honest with people out there. So Maddie and I are different in that way. Maddie does go to the theater. She goes to the movies and supports cinema. I
I
don't.
do.
So films that are in the movies that are in the theaters, I don't know. But this one is purportedly, without a doubt, a bad movie. So why they wasted their money on that, just I guess it's just to hang out. So that's $15 down the drain. But they're doing that. They're having this movie. Zay is clearly amused. He's like, this shit's crazy. But Charlie is not paying attention to any of that because Charlie is still more paying attention to Zay than the movie. Like, I'm sure if Zay asked him, hey, what's going on in the movie? Charlie would be like, I have no idea. And he's obsessed with, like, their arms are touching on the armrest. Look at the way he's reacting to things. And he starts noticing all those things that Danielle mentioned of, like, oh my God, like, I've got butterflies. Why are my hands all sweaty? Oh my God, what's happening? And then, and then,
And then, I mean, if Zay, yeah, if Zay leans over to whisper something to you, I mean, he's already fixating on everything. It's like this is real. He's like he's realizing that he's in real life and not just in like his mind. And then,
he looks at his lips very close to him and he freaks the fuck out. So here we are in reality. So basically, yeah, I mean, that is the moment. Like that is a turning point. Like, oh shit, this just got real. What am I gonna do? And what is Charlie's reaction to that? He's like, I need to go throw up. So what a nice, lovely sentiment to
I
have
just,
when you're
I
having that
mean, yeah,
realization.
like oh, like he's leaning close to me. I feel sick, but it's like actually not quite what's making you feel sick.
Yeah, it reminds me too. I think it's a little bit funny that it's like we're like Charlie's insane, but to be honest, Issa season 3 kind of has a similar reaction when she has her
Yeah.
moment about Farkle. She's like, I'm gonna go pass out. Like, I can't handle this. So it's that kind of thing of like, I mean, Charlie's got a whole level to it because there's also the sexuality and the internalized homophobia and all that stuff. But I think it's just the moment of like earth shattering revelation that
Mm,
completely flips your world around and you're just not prepared for it. It's like, it's whiplash. It's like vertigo because it's like,
hmm
oh my God, everything just changed because I just had this moment of realizing, you know?
Yeah, and he probably also had to like pull up and like stop himself so hard that like yeah, he would get whiplash from that. Like doing a flipping brake on the on a car like that, it would give you whiplash.
So, yeah, so he's like, I'm gonna be sick, I need to leave. Zay, obviously concerned. I would also be concerned if I was at the movie with my friend and they all of a sudden were like, I need to go vomit. So
Yes.
he gets up and like I said, the moviegoer is like, dude, you're standing, I can't see. And Zay's like, it's a bad movie. What are you missing? I'm doing you a favor. And I highlighted that line just because I feel like that's such a Zay character line. Like,
Yeah.
that he is not abashed by like people talking down to him. He's like, no, 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 don't talk to me like that. I'm doing you a favor. Now get out of my way. So I think it's just a great little like character moment for him.
Yeah, it's very much Zay, and he's like, this is more important, which is such a Zay thing. Like, Zay doesn't care about the other people, he cares about Charlie, which is like super
Oh, so
cute.
true. So true. Very thematic. So yes, Charlie goes, has a tiny little mental breakdown in the bathroom. Does not throw up, thank God, but he'll throw up later, so it's fine. He'll throw up in later episodes. We don't have to worry about that right now. But he definitely is like, oh, like shit, like something is wrong. Like, oh my God, I feel terrible. I never felt like this before in multiple ways. So he goes out, and Zay, of course, is waiting for him,
Of
patiently giving him
course.
space, but is like, hey, are you okay? Like, I just want to check if everything's good. And that's so sweet. But Charlie is at that point in like escape mode X and is like, no, yeah, I just need to go. So of course Zay, because he's Zay, is like, oh well, let me walk you home. And Charlie's like, no, no, you can't. I'm gonna call noobs. Bye. So again,
And
this is like really the beginning of like Zay in this season particularly goes through a lot of like it's the mixed signals. It's the like,
yeah.
what are you trying to say to me? Like, do you like me as a friend? Like, cause you won't even let me walk with you. But then you get like really excited when we hang out. So like, bro, what's going on? And I feel like in his heart, does Zay probably know what's going on? Yes. I feel like even though he is caught by surprise in the finale, and we will talk about that when we get there, we'll have to spend a whole hour talking about that.
Oh yeah.
I think he just, like, I think he gets it and he, like, kind of senses what's going on, but he's also not going to make an assumption about what's going on. So he's torn between, like, I can see where this could be one way
Mm-hmm.
and I have empathy for that and I'm going to try and help where I can. But it could also just be that Charlie's a jackass and like is just weird and can't make up his mind and Zay doesn't know him well enough yet to figure out what the truth is. So I think that's the
Yeah.
kind of weird place that he's at.
Yeah, I mean, he must have a lot of thoughts, but I think obviously he has other things going on, and he isn't, I think at this point, like, especially because of what happened, like, in the year before with his, like, ex, he's
Mhm.
probably, like, kind of blocking that out a little bit as well. Like, he's
Yeah.
probably like,
Oh yeah.
yeah, it kind of seems like something's going on, but I'm not doing romance anymore. Like, I'm focusing on
Mhm.
me. And so he's just like, it could be anything. Charlie, I don't know him. He could just be like, he could have really bad anxiety. I don't know that.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Well, he does,
And
that's for
he
sure. So
does.
good
He
chats
does.
there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're correct. But about, I think it's definitely the kind of thing where you're in high school and people are figuring that stuff out. And there's always those conversations people have. You're like, you know, those two, like, don't they seem really close? But it's like no one knows and no one really cares.
Yeah.
But like, it's it's like a thought, but then it's like, well, I don't care, so
Yeah. And
we'll
I
see
think
what
that is
happens.
that what you just said is so true for Zay and Charlie, but
Mm.
particularly for just like people who are not relevant to them. Like, you know, it's
Mm-hmm.
like Yindra and Nigel, nothing. They don't think anything of it. They never think about it. It doesn't cross their mind. On the other hand, you have like Dave, like in
Mm-hmm.
the videos that he and Yogi were filming in season 3 being like, you know, I just they were really really close and I feel like Charlie was really like instrumental to Zay and Zay must be really upset about that. And that's why it's like he's unpacked all of it, even though he has not put the
Mm-hmm.
pieces together. But like, it's the people who have nothing to do with them that are like, they spend a lot of time together, don't they?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I guess they're like making these inferences, whereas I feel like Yint and Nigel are probably just like, ugh, classic Zay, just making a new friend. And but they probably think, well, this, Charlie's nothing like Brooklyn though, so that would never be
Yeah. Well, and also
romantic.
at this point, they're like, we think Charlie's straight. We
Yeah,
think. So yeah, what a time. Much more time
what
to
a
unpack
time.
that in the future.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, after that horrible mental breakdown moment, many more to come. Charlie is at home. He is already in his pajamas. He is listlessly munching on toast. He literally was like, okay, I need to go home and just die. So that's what he's doing. He's like, I'm about to fall asleep in despair. And Ambrose enters and he is like, I highlighted this line because I just like it. The exchange of, wow, cola for the dancer? You must really not be feeling well. And Charlie's like, you have no idea. And I think that obviously that's a loaded statement, but I also like that it kind of implies slash shows like that Ambrose does know things about Charlie, or like at least has a good observational understanding of his son, of like Charlie never drinks soda because Charlie is a dancer and Charlie takes his health very seriously. So if he's seeing him drink soda, something's up, you know? Like I think that it's nice to see like just those little details between them.
I agree, and I also love this because isn't I mean, I don't want to like spoil things. Like, isn't this a location like kind of significant?
Mhm.
Like,
Mhm. True, 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 true. The kitchen.
yeah, I just feel like that's like a parallel that could be like that I would give if I could.
If you could. If we could. That's what we're always saying in this world. Yes. Good point. Good point. So Charlie kind of takes this moment to try to seek some advice and he's like, "Hey, like when did you know that you had feelings for mom?" Which one, what a naive kind of Catholic thing to say, to be like, feelings for mom, as if you never had any feelings for anybody else in your entire life before that. Which is just like kind of cute. But he's trying to get this inference, of like, what am I supposed to be feeling? Am I feeling it in the right way? I just need some guidance. Obviously, Ambrose doesn't have all that context that we have, but he's like, oh, yeah, for sure. And then he says such a cringy thing. He's like, it was Catholic school. You've seen those uniforms, right? I literally, in my notes, I wrote, Ambrose, don't be cringe. Aha. Like, what a Catholic man thing to say.
It's so weird though because that is also like it's almost like not Catholic. Like that kind of again shows he's just there. He's like he's
Right.
just
He's
like,
kind of
yeah,
like,
I'm like I got the best Catholic gal out here. But I'm actually kind of just a I feel like he was like the Catholic player boy, like honestly.
yeah.
Like that's what that's like giving to me.
Yeah. Yeah. It's really interesting too, because that if you think about that, that's really interesting. It's like that's kind of what they impress upon Charlie. Like that's what they set him up as. So it's partially like, are they seeing they want it's just weird. It's like they want Charlie to be like what maybe Ambrose was in the 80s or 90s or whenever they were teenagers, It's like, oh, there's just so much like psychological stuff going on here. And the thing that I think is so weird about that too, and this is something that's just societal, like this is not on Ambrose, but this thing of like the objectification of the Catholic schoolgirl, and to say something like that and have everybody kind of know what it means. It's like at the same time though, like that's your daughters, Like it's so weird. Like the double standards that exist in all kind of like structures like this, of like a community that is based societally in the way that churches and religion, organized religion, is based. It's just very weird. There's so much to unpack. I'm sure Charlie has so many deep, probing conversations about this when he's older, about like, we need to think about all these things because no one is thinking about them.
Yeah, he's like, I'm never sending my children to Catholic school.
No.
Oh,
Yeah.
that was gross. Thank you, Dad.
But
It's
also,
like
like, yeah, him
so,
saying that and Charlie being like, haha, haha. The ha-has are beginning.
oh yeah.
The Charlie haha. So anyway, Ambrose is like, well, I didn't really start to understand fully feelings until I like pursued them, which is like, this is also kind of what you were talking about, a really interesting moment of like, I think the kind of like if Eleanor heard this conversation, she'd be like, well, just ignore it. Like you shouldn't be thinking about that anyway right now. You need to be thinking about XYZ and like your relationship with God and blah 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 blah. Whereas
Yeah.
I think it's
And it's
interesting
like
that
it's
yeah,
not about feelings. It's not about don't think about those feelings. Just think about like who who is like giving themselves to God or whatever. Who is like a
right.
good obedient. wife
Who she thinks
type.
is Riley, which is like, girl, you're so off. But
Yeah.
no, yeah. So there's like that, and but on the flip side, you have Ambrose kind of being more like, again, not what you'd expect, where he's like, you have to explore it and you have to kind of try it out and you have to just see for yourself. And that's, not bad advice. The problem is Charlie doesn't know how to take advice, and so he's like, okay, I need to kiss someone, and then I will unlock my girl feelings, and it'll all work out. And that brings us to perhaps one of the most cringe experiences. It's a legacy ambition moment, but for all the wrong reasons,
Ugh.
which makes it great. But basically we get this song from Les Mis. It's A Heart Full of Love. It is in the show. It's kind of like four different songs tied together, but we're only getting like the piece that's relevant. And it is when Eponine brings Marius to see Cosette and unites them. And so in lucky for Charlie being in this part, he's like, oh, I have a kiss stage for me. Like, I have to kiss Yindra. We haven't done it yet. Because I'll say, like, it is awkward when you're like in a high school production and you like have to kiss someone. Like, I remember when I was in a production, it was like, so we have to do this eventually, but how do we like decide we're gonna do this? So at some point I just kind of had to be like, you know what, I'm just gonna do it this take and then we'll have done it and it'll be easy. So we did that and it was great, but it's that kind of weird thing where it's like someone has to decide you're just gonna do it.
Mhm.
I recommend typically maybe talking about it before you do it, which is
Yeah.
clearly something Charlie did not do because he is just like, I'ma just roll with it. I'ma make it the moment. It's gonna be great. And he sure
No.
goes for that.
The worst kiss ever. And I wrote in my notes that I would like die, like if I had to even just be in the vicinity
Of this.
of this moment.
Yeah. Like, it's one thing when it's like, I mean, a stage kiss is a stage kiss. Like, Riley and Farkle kiss when they're Beauty and the Beast, Like, it's not like the stage kiss is not the problem. It's that, like, he just went for it so hard, and it's like, oh my god, like, the cringe. Except, like,
Yeah,
it's
it's
funny to me that,
true.
like, the fact that it's like it says like some of the girls are shocked and a few disappointed. It's like you're thinking about like Haley, and Haley's looking at this and she's like, "Oh my god, that should have been me. Oh no!" But it's like to most people standing in that room, it's like, "What am I watching right now? Like, what is happening?"
Yeah, like you know that like at least two people are making like eye contact with the most awkward, like that face, that like that Michael Scott gif from The Office where he's like kind of biting his lip and like grimacing really hard.
Yeah.
That's me, right? Like Lucas is making a face as was next to him, but you know that like Jade and Asher are like looking at each other like, no, no, this is not
Dylan is
happening.
like internally screaming because Dylan knows he's gay and he's like, "Oh my god, what is he doing? No, no."
Yes, I feel like Dylan is like he's like jaw dropped, like kind of excited because he's like, this is hilarious and like also kind of insane. And so then he like hits Jade and Asher and they're like annoyed. They're like, what? And then they see and then they just like make the most like disgusted face.
Dylan's like, I have to intervene. I have to go in there right now. And Asher and Jade are like, no, what are you doing? Do not rush in there to pull them apart. Oh my god. Like, oh, it's such a mess. But yeah, that moment of like, first of all, I love that Riley is like, oh, like totally out of character. Like, she completely drops the moment. She's like, what? Oh, okay. Glad that's not me. And then you have like, I love that it's a Lucas and Zay reaction shot because there is such this like thing, there's this weird, we call it the OT4, but like there's this thing of like the way that Lucas and Riley and Charlie and Zay kind of help these intersected relationships. And so to have them have this moment together of like Zay's reaction, which has some weight to it, next to Lucas's reaction, which is just like disgusted, like, oh my god, what am I watching? This can't be. Like, Lucas is like, I've never kissed anybody. I don't know anything about this, but I know that's wrong.
Yeah, he's like on my stage in front of all these people.
I know he's like, if you're gonna do this, like, oh my god, get a room. Are you kidding me? Even though it's like a stage kiss, but it's like, no, don't do this in public. You're showing your limbs and you're kissing in public?
Ew, who are you? What are you doing?
absolutely horrifying. But yes, Zay has
Ew.
the kind of weight to it of not only is it like this is the most awkward kiss I've ever watched in my life, but also like he had been having some thoughts about Charlie and like I don't really know what's going on here. And so now it's like, well, okay, if he's doing that, what I don't know if I like actually really understand what's going on here. So
Yeah. Like, wait, I'm wrong? I'm
oh, and that's
confused.
one thing that which will come up so many times later, but that's one thing I really love about Zay and Charlie too, is this kind of inherent thing of like, Charlie is the only person that has ever kind of kept Zay on his toes like this, where he can't really figure him out and he can't predict what he's gonna do. And I think that there's like, obviously there are elements to that in season 2 and stuff in season 3 where it's like that's frustrating, particularly when it's big things like leaving Adams. But at the same time, I think that's one of the things Zay really likes about being with him is that like everyone else he's got figured out, but Charlie is like this exciting puzzle of like you're always gonna keep me a little bit second guessing in like a good way, and that's one thing he really likes about their relationship. And you see that even as early as here, where it's like he did not see that coming. So
No.
so yeah, we just saw the
Oh,
worst
this
kiss on
it's
earth.
so awkward.
It's so bad. But one of the best lines in season 1 and perhaps ambition history is we have this exchange between Lucas and Nigel, and which of course Nigel of all people is just so good. So Lucas is trying to like get it back on track because Sean's like, "Yo, it's dress rehearsal. Like we cannot stop. Like I need to move on from this." And Lucas is being his usual Lucas self. He's like, "Have you all never seen a kiss before? What are you, third graders?" And Nigel just passing by, does not even pause, is like you've ever kissed anybody. And Lucas is like, hey, shut the hell up. And I just like love the comedy of that. The fact that Nigel just snipes him like in passing. The fact that it's Nigel of all people, and then it's like Lucas, like him being like, hey, shut the hell up, is like, yes, it's just that he's aggressive, but it's also like you can tell he's like a little hurt by that. Like he's like, hey, don't bring me into this. Like, we don't need to talk about my kissing history. That's one of my favorite exchanges, comedic wise, in like the whole season, because I think it's so funny.
They're so silly. And also like Nigel and Lucas like almost never interact. Like,
Yeah. And that's one thing I love about it too, is like, you think of all the people, like, Nigel is the one sniping him? Like, oh my god, it's so good.
love it.
So good. So yeah, then in the boys' dressing room, Charlie, after that unbelievably awkward thing, like, is coming in. He is like so internally upset because he's like, okay, that was supposed to work and it was supposed to fix everything and it didn't fix everything. But to everybody else, it was just like a weird choice. But, Farkle and Zay are like, good job, like just going for it, I guess. And it says it's like, oh, it sure looked believable. And I wrote in my notes, did it even look believable? I don't know. I don't know if it really did. Um, but then they have this moment of like, okay, this is awkward, and Zay like gets called out to go be on stage, and kind of like they have a little brush by moment where Charlie is like his brain is breaking open, and so then we have this kind of interesting continued scene with Farkle and Charlie, and I think. I mean, we will get into this many times in the future, but Farkle and Charlie is one of my favorite friendships. And in season 1 and early season 2, there's not a lot of it, but this is a really interesting kind of early scene of the two of them. Just to see Farkle, like, again, we're seeing him in this episode a little less manic, a little more conscious of the way he is with other people, like from what we see with him and Maya. And so the fact that he could have totally taken advantage of this moment and like gotten in Charlie's head and been like, that was a really weird choice, or like, you're so cringe
Hmm.
for that. I would have done that if I were in your role. Kind of like what Maya's doing to everybody else. But he doesn't. He's like, no, it's okay, dude. Like, you're not supposed to like feel real deep about this.
Hmm.
That's what bad actors do. You're fine. Which is like nice, but I also think it's so funny that this is one of the moments where Farkle of all people is like, okay, you freak. Like, why are you upset about this? You're weird.
Yeah,
And he's
poor
right.
him. He doesn't know, but he'll have his own freakouts. And you know what? Other people other than Yindra will help with that, and we know this.
So yeah, I just like that little scene because I like friendship, so we're
Me
building
too.
very, very, very slowly on these things. So then we come back to, we're getting to the end of his little section here, and we're back at home, and it's like the night before the show, and Eleanor comes to be like, oh, we're so excited for tomorrow. And Charlie can't concentrate on that, and he has been, what we think, he does a lot of things on his mind right now, but I think we see what's really been kind of bothering him is he brings up Bridget, like point blank, which you can get the impression that they just do not talk about her much in the family
Yeah.
at this point. So the fact that he is just asking outright shows that it's a tension point in his mind. Like he can't let go of it. And he asks, like, where is she? Like, it feels like she's been gone forever. What's going on? And Eleanor realizes, like, okay, I'm gonna have to address this in some way. So she comes off very, like, somber and like reflective, but she explains very vaguely that like Bridget was always the more stubborn of them, and she's made some choices that they don't agree with, and she made those choices, and now she has to live with the consequences, and it's very hard to bring her back to the good side in so many words when she's in such a place of sin. So it's trying on all of us, and we wish it was different, but that's just how it is. And it's like this approach of like, I don't even know how to describe it, but like to be like, it's kind of like gaslighting, where it's like,
Yeah.
we love her, but it's her fault, so she has to deal with it. When it's like, no, if you loved her, this situation would not be what it is. But Eleanor is so good at that version of like conditional love that like it just seems natural and like, oh, that is how it is. And I guess it says, unsurprisingly, that does not make Charlie feel better about anything. So I have that whole paragraph explaining Bridget highlighted in purple because that's such a big theme, not only for kind of like plot in the show because of how Bridget is woven through the entire series, but also just for Charlie's storyline and kind of like all those elements in the Gardner saga. So, like I
Yeah,
said,
like
things
choices
being
have
introduced.
consequences. Oh, it's like it's just another reminder to Charlie that like he has to basically choose what Eleanor wants him to choose, or else there'll be consequences.
Yeah.
And like it's just sad. It's a little culty the way they just cut her
Mm-hmm.
out like that.
Yeah. I mean, welcome to organized religion.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, it's basically he can't choose the fries. He can't go live with the fries in holy matrimony.
Tragic.